All right, second grade, I'm going to read to you another chapter out of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Chapter 14, The Triumph of the Queen. As soon as the witch had gone, Aslan said, "We must move from this place at once, and it will be wanted for other purposes. We shall encamp tonight at the fords of Baruna." Of course, everyone was dying to ask him how he had arranged matters with the queen, but his face was stern and everyone's ears were still ringing with the sound of his roar, and so nobody dared. After a meal which was taken in the open air on the hilltop, they were busy for a while taking the pavilion down and packing things up. Before 2 o'clock they were on the march and set off in the northeasterly direction, walking at an easy pace, for they had not very far to go. During the first part of the journey, Aslan explained to Peter his plan of campaign. "As soon as she has finished her business in these parts," he said, "the queen and her crew will almost certainly fall back to her house and prepare for a siege." Now, if you don't know what the word siege is, that is a battle. "You may or may not be able to cut her off and prevent her from reaching it," Aslan said. He then went on to outline 2 plans of battle, one for fighting the queen and her people in the woods, and another for assaulting her at the castle. And all the time he was advising Peter on how to conduct the operation, saying things like, "You must put your centaurs in such a place, and you must put scouts to see that she doesn't do so-and-so." Till finally, at last, Peter said, "But Aslan, you will be there yourself, won't you?" "I can give you no promise of that," said the lion, and he continued to give Peter instructions. For the last part of the journey, it was Susan and Lucy who saw most of him. He did not talk very much, but he seemed to them to be very, very sad. It was still afternoon when they came down to a place where the river valley had widened out. This was the fords of Baruna, and Aslan gave orders to halt on this side of the water. But Peter said, "Wouldn't it be better to camp on the far side for fear she should try a night attack or anything?" Aslan, who seemed to have been thinking about something else, shook himself with his giant, magnificent mane and said, "Eh? What is that?" And so Peter said it again. "No," said Aslan, as if it didn't matter. "No, she will not make an attack tonight." And then he sighed very deeply. But presently he added, "All the same, it was well thought of. That is how a soldier ought to think. But it didn't really matter." So they proceeded to pitch their camp. Aslan's mood affected everyone that evening. Peter was feeling uncomfortable, fighting a battle on his own. The news that Aslan might not be there had been a great shock to him. Supper that evening was very quiet. Everyone felt how different it had been last night, or even in the morning. It was as if the good times, having just begun, were already drawing to an end. This feeling affected Susan so much that she couldn't sleep when she went to bed, and after she had counted sheep turning over, she heard Lucy give a long sigh. "Can't you sleep either?" said Susan. "No," said Lucy. "I thought you were asleep." "Susan!" "What?" said Susan. "I have a very horrible feeling as if something is hanging over us," said Lucy. "Have you?" said Susan. "Because as a matter of fact, so have I." "Something about Aslan," said Lucy. "Something dreadful is going to happen to him. Something dreadful that he's going to do," said Lucy. "There's been something wrong with him all afternoon," said Susan. "Lucy, what was it that he said about not being with us at the battle? You don't think he's going to steal away and leave us tonight, do you?" "Where is he now?" said Lucy. "Is he here?" "I don't think so," said Susan. "Susan, let's go have a look around," said Lucy. "We might see him." "All right," said Susan. "We might just as well be doing that than lying awake." And very quietly the 2 girls groped their way among the sleepers and crept out of the tent. The moonlight was bright. Suddenly Susan caught Lucy's arm. "Look! Look there!" On the far side where the trees began, they saw the lion slowly walking away from them into the woods. And without a word, they followed him. He led them up a slope out on the river in the valley. On and on he led them into the dark. into the shadows and out in the pale moonlight, getting their feet wet with the heavy dew. He looked somehow different from the Aslan they knew. His tail and his head hung very low, and he walked slowly as if he were very tired. "Oh, children, children, why are you following me?" "We couldn't sleep," said Lucy. "Please, please, may we come with you wherever you're going," said Susan. "Well," said Aslan, "I should be glad of the company tonight. Yes, you may come, if you promise to stop when I tell you, and after that you have to leave me when I say to go." Thank you, we will," said the girls. Forward they went. How slowly he walked, how great his royal head drooped. "Aslan, dear Aslan, what is wrong? Can't you tell us?" said Lucy. "Are you ill, Aslan?" said Susan. "No," said Aslan, "I am sad and I am lonely. Lay your hands on my mane so that I can feel you are there. Let us walk like that." And we'll stop there for today, and we'll find out next time what happens.